Hey guys, it's Hawk here. Welcome to another video. Today will be my first constructive criticism thing. It'll be a little series that I hope to do. And the first person I'm doing, they asked me to review their art, is somebody known as Way Too Many Fandoms. Now, Way Too Many Fandoms asked me to review some of their art pieces, and I will, based off color selection, shading, highlight, neatness, line work, anatomy, style, extra, what I like, dislike, and think they can improve on. Now, I will be reviewing three pieces from this person. So, the first piece I'm reviewing is going to be Red Like a Rose. This is a very, very cute anther piece that they did as a gift for this person. And I really like it so far. For the color selection, what I'm going to be doing for these videos, now I'm not going to tamper with their pieces, sorry, don't worry, but what I'm going to be doing is seeing what saturation they use and tell them what they could work on. This is what I meant by color selection. So for this piece, I like that they use nice light colors and it gives it a really cheerful look. And the style is quite nice. Let's see the colors. If you see here, this is a pretty saturated light pink. It is very nice. It doesn't really hurt the eyes too much. It's pretty nice. However, I would suggest possibly using maybe like a lighter color, but like it's still basically the same color, just not a pure color. And I advise this for all artists not to use pure color because when you're doing an art piece, your eyes need room to rest. So um, let me say it this way. Okay, so there are some soft colors. Those leave your eyes room to rest. And then there might be more pure colors or colors up here, just like the colors at the very corners and stuff. Those are like pure colors, as like a lot of artists call them, because, well, they're the purest form of that color. And so when it's like that, if you have lots of it, your eyes don't have much room to rest. And that's when people tend to use the term it hurts my eyes. Now, this does not hurt my eyes. However, I would advise maybe using a bit less of a pure color, like just kind of maybe slightly do this. So it's within the same color, but it's not completely pure, like this. You can see this. Let me zoom in. Like this color. And for this, maybe go down here, like this, in this color, because you get relatively the same color, just not as saturated, so there's room to rest. And whatever colors that you want people to focus on, or whatever part of the picture you want people to focus on the most, you can put the color like this, like the most saturated or pure form, and put it like that. However, I wouldn't advise putting that on the picture. For the line work, this doesn't have any line work, which I'm fine. This is ties into style because I really like the cute lineless style that you used for it, and I really think it is very, very nice for what you did. It works really well and gives a really cutesy vibe. I really like that about this picture. It's just really nice. However, I do think some things could be a little neater, like right here. It seems a little like there's this, and here there seems to be a splotch of color. Um, like for pieces, maybe work on a tad neater coloring, unless that was purposeful and is a little marking. And for here, I might advise not using the blur tool because if you see here, it leaves this kind of smudge mark. What I advise using is maybe an airbrush tool because you still get a nice blended effect. You can still get it, but it doesn't leave this weird like blur grayish film here, if you can see that. For the lines, I think you could maybe have added a little shading here, or like just a tiny bit, just like something like this. Now, I'm not really tampering with your work too much, just showing you what you can improve on, Like maybe do something like this so you know where the legs are and it doesn't look like one little big mass. However, it is still very nice. I do like that you did the line list. Just you could possibly work or put like little lines here, like you did with this, maybe like a tad darker shade or the same color, so you can tell that there's two legs and not one giant big glob. Um, yeah, I think those are the things that you could work on, maybe neatening things up and maybe showing like where this could like you could show where the knee or like the legs are more, like kind of make it stand out a bit more so you can tell that there's two legs and not one giant big mass. So that is that piece by Way Too Many Fandoms, and the next piece is Bon Ref Sheet. Now, this is a Five Nights at Freddy's OC. I think. Yep, that's Five Nights at Freddy's OC, which I'm fine with. It looks pretty cute. Um, I will go with the colors, like always. I will go with the hair. Okay, so as you can see, there are a few pure pigments, like this, and is this a pure pigment? Kind of, not as much. I think maybe you could make the shirt, maybe the pants are fine, but the shirt could maybe a little bit less, and the perhaps the hair could be a little less of a pure pigment, and so the eyes could have drawn attention drawn to it, so you could see the eyes, so you attention drawn to the face. However, you could have room for the eye for the picture, so your eyes have room to rest, and people won't say rude things because I won't say rude things in my videos, but I do think you could use a little bit less of a pure pigment and perhaps a little more of a desaturated, like for the hair. You could possibly go with this. It's still a fairly close color. However, it is not as saturated and it would leave your eyes with room to rest. Um, for the anatomy, I will say that the hand seems nice. The hands do seem nice. However, you could like maybe make your arms, make it a little like skinnier as it goes down. Because for arms, if you notice, your arm is like a bit more thicker near the shoulders area and the top part of your arm. But at the lower part of your arm near your hand, it gets thinner. However, don't make it too thin. And well, the hands seem nice. Yeah, the hands do seem pretty nice. I might say make a little bit of varying finger length, like perhaps like this, just so you can see perhaps the fingers a little better. And for the legs, I will say that you should probably make it a little thicker up top, like this, and a little thinner, like that. I will be doing red lines, however, I won't be tampering too much with your art. Just a little areas you can improve on, just like that. And maybe have a little less of a stiff pose. I know I'm pretty guilty of having stiff poses, but just make it seem a little bit less, like they're stiff like that. It just kind of seems like it would be painful to do that. I've tried doing this pose and it's kind of painful. Like, yeah. It's pretty nice though. I will say it's very cute looking, and I do like her design. However, I do think you could maybe work on hands, as we all can, and maybe the arms, like, the arms and the legs. And yeah. And maybe for the head, I might say, perhaps although this might be just with the style, perhaps leave like eyebrows in here so you can see her expression a bit more, and perhaps add some shading if that's your style. Um, However, I do like the simplicity of this piece as well, and I do like the reference that you have. But I think you could work on maybe using a bit less of pure pigments and maybe work on anatomy a little bit. Maybe look at a few anatomy books or tutorials. There's a lot online. Yeah, like there's a lot of colors that are close to like pure red or like reddish pink or whatever color you're using, but I would advise against using completely pure pigments everywhere so there's room for the eyes to rest. However, you can have a pop, like for the eyes, you can have a pure pigment or something, so your eyes are drawn to the face. And the last piece I'm going to do is Like the Ceiling Can't Bow Us. Really funny name. This is a traditional work. It seems fairly nice. I like the color choice. I really like the pink and blue color choice. However, I think that there's around here the hands look a little messy and you could work on that. And right here there seems to be smudging. I don't know if that was for shading. I think maybe you should line your pieces and then erase the pencil just so it doesn't smudge. And maybe work on a little bit of coloring. I see that this might be colored pencil. I suggest working in small circular motions when you're doing this because I actually do colored pencil. I've done a lot of realism pieces. And I know this isn't realism, but maybe just make it like a bit more circular and like layer it softly so it looks a bit more soft and not so harsh. And maybe having it go the same direction as you're coloring like this so it doesn't look so much as a contrast. And when you're coloring, I might suggest to be a tad bit neater and maybe use like a darker color than you use the hair for the headband and stuff so it stands out a little more and maybe add a little bit more detail to the eye. I might say to work on the anatomy around here. There is no real definition of where the knees might be, and the body just seems kind of like straight with no like real definition of, oh, here's the knee, or oh, the hips are kind of like that. Um, but you should probably do that and maybe add a little bit of shading here. I know that may not be your style, but just add a little bit of shading. About that, my mom keeps coming in. And maybe work on like a soft transition, like when I say like do circular motions, so you can do like a soft transition of like deeper pigment, perhaps if you burnish this in, and then like there's like softer, and it just kind of looks like a nice fade, and not too jagged, and maybe you could color in a little bit of pieces. Um, my overall thoughts, this looks cute. However, I like the style and I like the color choice, but I think you could maybe like try coloring a little neater and perhaps work on your anatomy a little bit. I think that's just generally what I want to say for your traditional pieces or this pieces like this. Yeah. I do really like your style overall, and I do definitely think you can get really well better in the future, and I really like where you are at now. You have a very nice style. I like the simplicity and just like the niceness of it. And just perhaps look at a bit of anatomy and maybe some color theory and just colors in general. And try investing in some darker colors perhaps and look at coloring techniques because that could really help because I can see some spaces here and unless that's your style you might want it to be one flat thing. I know there's some pretty cheap markers out there like hashtag coloring. It's a really cheap Copic alternative. You can get like sets for like $5 with a coupon at Michael's and they're really nice ink and I'm pretty sure you'd like them and they would definitely give a nice clean look if you want to look into some supplies for your traditional. So yeah, overall, maybe look at some anatomy, like I've been saying, some coloring techniques, and try not to use as many pure pigments on your digital or pure colors. And yeah, keep improving. I really like where you're at now. Have a good day, everyone!